Alright, welcome back to Spy X Family Anime Review, episode number 41. We're at the final episode of season 3 of the show, episode 50. Yep, episode 50. Kind of interesting in 3 seasons they would get this far, but the primary reason had 2 cores. Yes, season 1 had 2 cores. The reason for it, I guess because at the time when they released the first season, they probably figured though we had it up, they probably have chapters to adapt. That's why they did core 2. So this is called A World Where We Cannot Survive. Adapting from the rest of chapter 85 and go through pretty much the entirety of 86 and 87. And, like in the case of the previous arc, it did not finish up in the Wheeler arc. There's actually 2 chapters left. Overall, they adapted several arcs this season, and they basically skipped their 4 chapters. I'll get to that later. So, picked up last episode where Fiona has pretty much broken her arm punching Wheeler, and, well, defeats him, and, hits him again, and then turns out the guy injured was actually Lloyd. So, and then, of course, they knock out Wheeler, they tie him up, and looking up one of the other guys, one of the agents who disguised as an agent from the state service, is actually, picks up Wheeler, and in the case of Lloyd, he puts Fiona's arm back in her socket, and basically carries her out. Though she's after a while, she kind of likes it, but kind of want to get out of there, because basically she has to think for Lloyd. So then, of course, they hop in the car. Lloyd basically thinks, Fiona thinks she should come home and help out with the marital problems. Lloyd's no, you're going to the hospital. And she does. And then, of course, afterwards, Lloyd goes home. They kind of sort of the situation they have, and it just basically, for it just, her being more reliable to him. Just rely on her. Okay. And then, of course, Yuri, of course, they do ask about him because he got injured last episode. But Lloyd couldn't kill him because it would endanger the mission. Because he's Yor's brother. And he's beaten up too. And of course, Lloyd's excuse is that he got in a fight with our patient who's a professional wrestler. So, and of course, basically, Yuri does notice basically his arm being injured, but he pulls it up, it's oh, there's nothing there. It's later revealed he actually covered up his own injury with a fake piece of skin, which he's a spy, of course, basically has access to that particular piece of technology. And then, of course, he goes back to his office, develops his after-action report, and then we cut to Fiona, where he's in the hospital, and it turns out she has a private room arranged by a doctor who's got a thing for her. And then a nurse shoos him out, and the nurse turns out to be the handler. Yes. Where because he's dropping some reports for VI patients, she goes through them, and she tells basically Fiona that she kind of knows that she has feelings for Lloyd. And when she leaves, apparently she blows a gasket. The fact that her boss does know the fact that she has feelings for Lloyd. And then the episode ends with Anya eating good breakfast thanks to Yuri just preparing good food. And then later on, the collapse, and we have this dream sequence post-credit scene. And then Lloyd wakes up and sees that Yor and Anna and Anya are asleep with Bond because they had played with things where they touched his fur. And that's the episode. And then they just... Normally this next thing will be a preview for the next episode. But it's clips from the season. And then it says, see you next mission. Whenever that will be. And that's the episode. It was good. Definitely. I kind of wish that they would have finished... I kind of wish they would have done a bonus episode or 2 adapting the chapters they skipped. But they chose not to. But Final Thoughts Season 3. Really good season. This was fantastic, and according to what I've heard, there may not be a season 4 just yet. I'm sure basically there's a good demand for season 4, given how probably this season's well received, but probably not at the moment. You're probably thinking, why? Well, because, and it's kind of the reason why we had to wait 2 years for this season to come out. Not enough chapters. And 13 was probably nothing. It's not like My Hero Academia where they can do like 26 per season. 13 is probably the limit given how much manga they have there, and plus the fact that manga, two things about the manga. It's still coming out, and it comes out once every 2 weeks. Same with the Chainsaw Man. Though, of course, next chapter comes out next week. Yep. And as this very episode, well, you probably think, oh, they covered 87 chapters in 50 episodes? No, it's more like that 83 out of 87. So, if you're curious, how many chapters have to be adapted to the whole series? Well, the answer is 44. Yep, 44. They might have to wait about a year or two for season 4. The only option they could do in order to buy time for another season is do what they did last year. Release a movie. Yeah, that's probably the only option they could do. I mean, the last one was really good. Do I think they probably will? They probably will release a movie. Or they could release a special adapting the chapters skipped. It's possible. But a movie is probably the only option we can have right now for it while waiting for season 4 to come out, because that's probably the best option. A movie. Yeah, probably give the manga more time to release more chapters, because like I said, there's not enough for like another season at the moment per se. I mean, could they adapt the 4 chapters into a movie? It's possible, but I don't think they will. They'll probably save it for the show itself. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share notifications. Next up is Let This Grieving Soul Retire. Okay? Next video. Bye.